Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Storytime with Indi. It has been a while since we read together, so gather round and settle down. Today, I am going to read a story about a sheep from New Zealand. Fun fact, did you know that there are a lot more sheep than people in New Zealand? Isn't that interesting? Here we go! The title of the story is Elvie the Sheep, written by Colleen Brown, illustrated by Emma Lay. To the Pollock family and Elvie the Sheep. Elvie the sheep didn't live in a paddock or on a farm. She didn't even live with other sheep. No. Elvie the sheep lived in the Pollock's backyard, next to the hen house, near the airport. Every day Elvie gazed up at the planes flying overhead. And every day Elvie waited for the Pollock children to come home from school to feed her sheep pellets from her very own tin. The children told Elvie that they had brought her home from a big sheep farm when she was very little. They'd fed her milk using a special bottle just for lambs. Elvie loved living in the city. Sometimes Mrs. Pollock tied a rope around her blue collar and led her up the street to the park. Fresh grass, thought Elvie as her hooves clipped along the footpath. People often stopped and stared at them and even tooted their horns. But Mrs. Pollock and Elvie didn't care. At the park, while Elvie munched, Mrs. Pollock enjoyed the sunshine. Then they wandered back home, Elvie's stomach full of fresh green grass. One day, the Pollock children told Elvie that they were going on a holiday, and so was Elvie. Elvie was going back to her farm while they were away. The Pollocks packed their bags and hooked the trailer up to the back of the car for Elvie. Elvie was very excited. On the journey to the farm, she smelled freshly cut hay, and there was so much grass, much more grass than in her little park. When the Pollocks arrived at the farm, Elvie was put into a large paddock. She was soon busy making friends and sniffing the new smells. After a couple of weeks at the farm, the farmer had to decide which sheep would be sent away and which ones he would keep. But no one could find Elvie. She looked and sounded like all the other sheep. Her blue collar was hidden under a thick ruff of wool that had grown around her neck. The farmer phoned Mr. Pollock, who had just got home. We are sending some of the sheep away in a few hours. We don't know which one is Elvie. You had better get here quickly, he said. Mr. Pollock raced out of the house, hooked up his trailer, sped up the valleys, zoomed through the hills, screeching into the farm driveway. At the same time as the huge sheep truck, the driver jumped out of the truck and started hauling down the ramp for the sheep to walk up. Mr. Pollock leaped out of his car and ran to the largest paddock filled with waiting sheep. All he could see was white wool, no blue collar anywhere. "Elvie! Elvie! Elvie!" he yelled. None of the sheep looked at him. Mr. Pollock jumped up and down, waving his arms and shouting Elvie's name over and over. "Elvie! Elvie! Elvie!" Mr. Pollock was desperate. Suddenly, he had an idea. He raced back to his car and pulled everything out. He ran back to the paddock, huffing and puffing as the sheep started moving up the ramp. The dogs were barking and the sheep were bleating. Mr. Pollock had found Elvie's old feeding tin. He shook it hard. The sheep pellets rattled and smacked against the side of the battered tin. "Elvie! Elvie!" he shouted again. He held the tin high in the air as he shook and bashed it with his fist. Suddenly, one of the sheep looked up. It put its head to one side listening. Then it trotted over to Mr. Pollock, poked its head through the fence, and butted his foot. It was Elvie. "Elvie," said Mr. Pollock, hugging her tightly, "am I pleased to see you." As quick as a flash, Mr. Pollock loaded Elvie into the trailer and headed back home. Elvie did miss the farm, but she was pleased to be back with the Pollocks, the plains, the hens, and the seagulls. Elvie realized that while she had liked her time as a farm sheep, she was a city sheep, not a country sheep. Elvie the City Sheep. That's the end. A special thank you to Colleen Brown, who shared her story with us. And another special thank you to Mike Potter at Disability Connect for giving us the lovely location to film in. Thank you for reading with me. My name is Indika. I have autism. People like me with autism have very special interests. One of my interests is reading. I enjoyed reading with you today. I hope you enjoyed reading with me. Please come read with me whenever you like. Take care. Until the next story time. Goodbye for now.